Hey Shebahn, how you doing?
Hi, very good morning to you. Morning Jeff, morning Ali. Well.
Shebahn.
I'll give you one guess. Yes, it's headlines all about Manchester United in the back pages of the papers this morning. I'll just do the headlines and then we'll crack on with some other news, shall we? Back page of The Sun, Eric gets a kicking, Ten Hag humiliated as Eagles blitz him. Back page of The Times, Majestic Palace pile on the pain for an abject United. He is on Ten Hag after rout. Back page of the Daily Express this morning, Shred Devils. The Mirror is going for torn to shreds. And the back page of the Daily Mail, horribly put but kind of apt, car crash is their headline this morning. But some other stories going around. Let's talk about that of David Moyes. And the news confirmed yesterday afternoon that he will be leaving West Ham at the end of the season. Back page of the Times going for Lopetegui's West Ham deal. Former Wolves manager agrees to replace Moyes, who will leave the club end of the season. In a statement, these are nice words. David Moyes said, "When I joined West Ham for a second time, the club was one place above the relegation zone. It's been a terrific journey to have achieved 3 consecutive seasons in Europe. After leading the club to safety, we guided the teams to finishes of 6th and 7th in the Premier League, and I was delighted when we won the Europa Conference League title last June." Some proper highlights in there, Jeff.
Oh, look, I think that even the most anti-David Moyes West Ham fan would concede that he's done a great job in the time that he's been there. And my question, and one that I'll be asking during the course of the morning, has he been forced out of the club by the fans? Because the atmosphere down there, has become, as it has been at times in the past, has become very difficult. And for a man of David Moyes' standing, then I think it must have been very, very tough for him to carry on with that sort of job. And why should he? And it'll be interesting to see how Julian Lopetegui goes. I don't think everybody is convinced by him. I thought he did well at Wolves, to be honest. But we should see. What do you think, Ali? Do you think it's a step up?
Well, time will tell, Jeff. I don't think there's any doubt David Moyes, in my opinion, and you and I get accused of sticking up from the facts are there for everybody to see. Shebahn's just said it. Finished 6th, 7th, won the Conference League. From where he took over, he's done a fantastic job. I'm looking at the table just now, and they're sitting in 9th place. And I'm looking at the teams that are above them: United, Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Spurs, Villa, Liverpool, City, and Arsenal. You can argue they all should be above West Ham. So. But I think you're right. There was a kind of feeling about the place. I was at the game, the Liverpool game on Saturday, going there, the 2-2 game, and there was just a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, tiredness maybe about the place, where you just felt that there was going to be a change. I'm not sure David Moyes knew, himself what was happening at the end of the season. I think he probably was a little bit surprised that nobody had spoken to him in terms of, look, we're going to look for a new manager. I'm not sure he was informed the way he probably should have been, maybe showing the respect that he should have received and got. But listen, Jeff, we're not really that surprised there's been a change. They're making a change, and I think the jury's out on Lopetegui, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to seeing how he does, how he changes his team. Because I tell you what, I don't half like the front four. I mean, I think the front four is, if not as good as anything in the league, certainly very, very good. I really, really do. I think the front four could compete against anything in the league. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
It's amazing. Yesterday I covered the H&J show, and a couple of callers were saying, for West Ham it can't get any worse. Well, do you actually think they might in time look back and say
the ninth?
Well, can't
David
Moyes get any worse?
Like glory
the ninth
days
in the table.
Oh, I'll tell you, it can get worse.
That absolutely can get worse. And Lopetegui, we've seen him get Wolves to 13th in the Premier League, but perhaps David Moyes has been disrespected by the clubs, perhaps a portion of the fans too, and he was offered that contract, but maybe he didn't like the vibe altogether. But Lopetegui has signed this deal now, and he will be replacing David Moyes in the dugout at the London Stadium. Another story going around, the Spurs chat continues in the papers today. There's a good piece inside the Telegraph. This is by Daniel Zachary. It says, Ange Postecoglou's first season at Tottenham has shown enough promise to keep fans interested, but a question looms over his second campaign. Can he plug the team's porous defence with retaining attacking principles? How does he do that? He goes on to talk about Destiny Udogie being a real talent and sorely missed through injury, while Pedro Porro has exceeded expectations at right back. Do you think Ange, with a good summer, can take this team forward with his philosophy, Jeff?
Time will tell, but one thing for sure is he'll get the chance, because one season isn't enough to tell with Ange. By the way, that piece talking about Destiny Udogie, okay, of course they've missed him, but it's not like Spurs have got an injury list as long as their arm. We're not talking Manchester United or Newcastle or Brighton proportions here, so they can't really use his absence as an excuse for their recent poor form. I don't know. I mean, I think he deserves some time. What I do think is he probably has to get it right at the start of next season.
Yeah. Ali, I mean, there's been comparisons drawn between Ange now and Mikel Arteta in his earlier days at Arsenal. Given that time, it's clearly worked for Arsenal to get everybody on the same page. Do managers now just need more time?
Well, I don't get it, Shebahn. That's the only thing. But if you ask me, does Ange deserve it? Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
I think they've been a great watch. I mean, you can argue some of the performances have been really poor. They've been shipping goals everywhere. I saw them. One of the poorest performances. I saw them up at Newcastle. But I mean, and it's amazing because they lost Van de Ven for a part of the season, and then that's when they started to struggle. But even when he's come back in, him and Romero have been shipping goals. Emerson Royal played at left back and Poor at right backs. That has been the problem. They'll always score goals the way they play the game and the way they attack. And by the way, incidentally, did you guys talk about going over the weekend? Did anybody talk about that potential penalty incident that Gary Neville thought was never a penalty at the back post when Joe Gomez lifts his boot? Jeff, did anybody mention that yesterday?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that we did, Ali, but
I think that is an absolute stonewall penalty. I cannot believe that VAR did not look at that. Do you remember the incident?
Yeah, I remember. About? Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'll tell you something. If that happens anywhere else on the football pitch, that is a free kick.
Yeah.
I don't care what MD says. His foot's that high at his head. It's a free kick. But anyway, that's me getting away on a rant about a penalty decision. So in answer to your question, Shebahn, of course he deserves another crack at it. And I'd like to, as I say, I think in terms of first season, they've certainly given us plenty of talking points. I mean, they've been a good watch and they've been easy on the eye, but they've certainly been shipping too many goals. That's for sure.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.